97.3 City FM. Relevant radio, always.
We didn't disturb. We cannot disturb the peace. We are here because of our chiefs and because of because of our members from Osu. Yesterday, we have our corn. We planted our corn. Yesterday, we lifted our corn. We started it yesterday. After that, we learned that our people have been brought here. What is the matter? We don't know what is the matter. The people were saying it's because of a land here. Me, I don't know nothing. So, since from yesterday, we haven't seen them. And today too, we have another plant, corn, to uproot. So we are waiting for them to come in, help us to uproot the corn. We couldn't see them. And we were told we are here. So after the corn, we dress up to be here. We did not disturb here. Yes! We naked ourselves. That's what we, the divine priestess, I'm not a fetish priestess. I'm a divine priestess. So once your teeth appear, we remove our clothes and become naked.
Why?
To call the gods.
Why? Why do you do that?
We do that to call the gods. When you are serious, you need to seriously.
So what do you want the gods to do?
We want them to go into the matter because we are talking about the land of Osu. And the land we got, the land is for the Osu people and the gods.
Do you know that it's an offense to keep yourself naked?
No, it's not an offense to us.
It is.
It is not. We don't believe in those. We are here. For them to we wait. Yes. What you say? Oh, yes, sir. What you say? What you what you say? No, about one. Come on here, no, here, true, and walk about one. We are fair.
97.3 City FM. Relevant radio, always.
Terrorism. Hold up.
How is that? But that's why Bolgan for a party woman in Mabukabu. Richard Moko, police got the farm. And you almost come back. And I'm a police farm, that's what I had there. And you bag if you want to compose your woman. All right.
Those who've been arrested, they are fighting for the land, and the national security people stop them, so that they should stop what they are doing. But at last, they don't respect. They are beating people, spoiling things. So if you are a big person or either you are somebody, they'll rush on you or they'll prove themselves.
So who are those fighting over this land?
This land is Osu Abati. And they take some landguards to protect the land, but they are fighting against the people, everybody.
So who came to destroy the fence wall today?
The police, I don't know, actually I don't know who are it. But we just see that the time the police came and arrested them, they brought some bulldozer.
And I heard there were some exchange of gunshots. Is that true?
I think that time.
Okay, so and it was between who and who? Was it between the police and the landguards?
Maybe it was second part of the landguard, because the first one they arrested them before the second one. So I don't know, either one is shoot or they are challenging each other.
Okay, so what chief? We also hear one chief was arrested. What chief was that?
Actually, I can't tell you now.
We were there this morning when they are giving us passports.
Who said
The landguard. They just came knocking door to door, telling us when you come, they'll tell you tomorrow we are coming to destroy everything. We are coming to demolish everything with bulldozer. Even if your child is inside, if you are here, just mash you with the trailer, the bulldozer. So
those were the threats from the landguard.
Yes.
So how did the police get involved?
When the police people,
You called them?
we called them. We used to call the media. If the landguard people see that you call the police, the media. Immediately they heard that they just come straight and beat you out and just chase you out of the land.
But do you have leadership here?
We have a leadership.
And
Yeah.
who are the leaders?
We
are one of them.
Actually, I'm part of the committee. Okay. But I'm not the leader.
Hello, good evening and welcome to PM Express. My name is Nana Ansakwa. And today we are asking, Who owns the land? Yes, that one subject that brings so much controversy and litigation. Now, in Ghana, land ownership can be categorized in, the dream of every Ghanaian is to live in their own house. Some purchase and others prefer to build. Land in Ghana is rather a sensitive subject, and tempers often boil when one faction or the other claim ownership of a parcel of land marked by the other. Now, in Ghana, land ownership can be categorized in two broad classes: customary land and public lands. Customary lands are land owned by the stools, skinned, families or clan, usually held in trust by the chief, head of family, clan or fetish priest for the benefit of the members of that group. Private ownership land can be acquired by way of a grant, sale, gift or marriage. Now, some populace have resorted to self-help by procuring the services of illegal private security known as landguards. Landguards have gained a terrible reputation for brutalizing anyone who trespasses on the land they have been charged to protect, and have even killed to that aim. They are often there without the knowledge of the legitimate owner of the land, making it sale virtually impossible. Now we're going to play a little insert and then we'll go on. When we come back, I'll introduce my guest and then we'll take it from there.
The landguards allegedly entered the community sometime last year following a legal battle over ownership of the land. The community's leaders had filed a suit against one Saliki, also known as Ayi Awala, the leader of the landguards who had laid claim to the land. But Secretary to the Asabade Stool, Ajete Benjamin, explains the court ruled in their favor.
They claim they have judgment they obtained in 2003. But when you study the judgment very well, the judgment will tell you that page 3, paragraph 2 of that judgment mention the villages that are under the cell land that is disputed for. And even according to Ayuko 2 and Obrepon Nukojo Abebio the 5th, that judgment is obtained by fraud. And when you study a suit, an action that has been instituted against them, it has outlined 24 different particulars of fraud in that judgment. They've sent us to court. Some are criminal, some are civil. They've lost all those cases. This Yakubu, the Salichi, who stays at opposite the Suoton Trotro station, he was even a plaintiff to one of the suits. He lost it.
But the ruling has not prevented Saliki's followers from harassing and threatening the residents of the community. Their activities are said to have led to some children abandoning school and threatening the livelihoods of families there, as they are often indoors for fear of being attacked by the landguards.
Bafe ochie nyone le amengba wonani ehi wo hekwe ya ehi wo ngomi ya ehi wo ngame jela ya ka wo bite school no keke landguards ya bontu chu amo ya school mi keke gbeke bi efe ejofwe ka wo ngame ya ama ko moshini keke ama tutu amengmo mi amekeka oshini mo mi wo ba gbebo wo hiele eto obeni wo hion chumini ehi wo poje.
This year, however, the landguards are said to have intensified their activities in the area.
In fact, these people, they don't allow us to sleep. As already been told, gunshots and other things, demarcating people's land. They be threatening people, shooting guns, the way they even ride their motorbike alone. They come face so that they will come and park, look at people's houses. When they know that you are not, you don't support them, they will just come and point you.
The residents are particularly worried about their farms, which have now been overtaken by landguards. Meanwhile, officials of the police headquarters say they have dispatched a team to the area to investigate the situation. Abonya at this time of the season, on any other day, according to the people, will be very busy with the mango business. People come from neighboring towns and villages and from the central business district to transact business. But this is that community today. Almost a ghost town. The alleged landguards destroyed properties and physically assaulted children and some women using machetes and guns. Solomon Soji who was physically assaulted, told Joy News he is constantly living in fear, but the arrival of the news team gave him hope.
The first I don't feel comfortable walking around, but now I feel comfortable.
Terry Matthew, who also suffered cutlass wounds, shed tears when he tried engaging the news team in a conversation. Recounting his ordeal was a challenge.
I'm not feeling happy because how they did to us, I'm not feeling happy. And we just came here and come and cook and go back. What is going on, we can't predict it. And so we want them to come and help us.
The chief of the Abonya abandoned the village to save his life. He alleged the attackers returned later with a group of policemen to scare them off the land. He said they captured the name and number of one of the officers that came with the attackers the second time.
Police for landguards. Police for landguards. Now me ba one na mokome number. Actually Mr. MK Insia. MK Insia. I'm coming just SWAT units. Ni number G 41192. Mr. Ni lole na me ka baji. DP. Tamoni San Patrol. DP. 2631. Dilole na me ka ba. O wa ka ngo wona. O wa pa government fani e ka ya o mi. Nika police for ile le ja me. Ba stop am. Ni me ni duo wo le hu.
This woman, who says she almost died at gunpoint because she refused to give up the husband who the attackers were after. The few people that the news team met, we were told, come in the morning to change their clothes and prepare food, then flee Abonya to other neighboring villages for fear of losing their lives. Even though there is security presence, the safety of the people is still not assured. Efforts to reach the divisional commander to clarify the allegations were unsuccessful.
Well, that was one hell of a report there. And with me in the studio to discuss land issues and myself, because there's no land issues that goes and come without a chief being in there somewhere or being the original guy who sold the land. And so today I think all three of us are very rightfully should be in this studio to discuss this matter. I'll start from my extreme left, and it's Charles Lewinga Poswing, who is a legal practitioner.
Yeah.
Did I say the name right?
Poswing. Yeah.
Poswing, yeah. Okay. And then I have to my immediate left Kofi Yosin Ejay, who's an honorary secretary to Ghana Institution of Surveyors. Yes. And then there's myself, the chief. Can you imagine? Talking about land. Charles, I'll start with you. How do I know I own a piece of land? I mean, that there's no argument, there's no qualms about it, whether I like it or not, I own this piece of land. How do I do that?
No, basically it depends on which angle from which you stand, whether as an individual or a family or a community.
Okay, let's start with an individual. Just an individual, I want to buy 100 by 100 and just put my house on it and retire happily. How do I know that that 100 by 100 is mine?
The reasons for many difficulties, I think, has always been the fact that a lot of people go to acquire land without engaging the services of those who have trained or who have been trained to carry out those activities. And the first and foremost one is that if you want to acquire land, the first person you need to engage is the services of a lawyer. Because land has its own history and how people became owners of the land and what kind of person can sell a piece of land to you. We all belong to communities. Mm-hmm. Lands are classified as family lands, as you said, skin lands, mm-hmm. stool lands. But the law recognizes some particular persons who can sell a family land or a stool land. And therefore, the basic thing an individual who intends to acquire land should do, I think the first thing is to get involved by a use of a lawyer. Not to walk to a site, get either a caretaker or some land guards who are always on the land and they describe that we are the owners of the land or we are the caretakers of the land we can sell. Invariably, you end up paying money which may not be sufficient for the acquisition, and you end up buying litigation or end up losing your life. So I think basically the first person you should encounter when you want is a lawyer. Then from there, you can always go to my good friend on my right area, which is making sure that you are buying a particular piece of land, the exact land, which is the work of those who do survey work. So basically, the first fellow you need to ascertain the ownership from will be a lawyer. And then the second person you need to see, maybe through your lawyer, will be the surveyor who ascertains a particular piece of land.
Mr. Surveyor.
Yes. As you rightly said, land is a very complicated commodity. I mean, unlike chattels that we can hold and move around. You can buy a mobile phone. I can keep the phone of Charles in my pocket, even in this studio, and he will never know unless I bring it out. But because of the fixed and complicated nature of land, you don't buy it just like any other commodity. You need to do the proper investigation to ensure that the person that you are buying the land from is the actual owner. So those are the legal parts of the job. Like you rightly said, you see a lawyer. Either a lawyer or a person that is engaged in land management issues like an estate surveyor. These days, estate surveyors are even getting interested in law. You have lawyers, estate surveyors that are also going to read law. Now, to say you own this land, it means that you've done all those checks that ensured that the land is safe from any other encumbrance that may lead to any litigation. And then you have properly registered that land. But sometimes, even in the course of the investigation, there are certain technicalities that can sway you. A lawyer can take a document, do all the investigation that it takes, confirm that no, this land is for Charles. But Charles can own a piece of land here, and then take me 300 meters away and show me another parcel of land for which the document that he's holding
does not cover.
Yes, can say that no, if you do the search on it, you show that it's for me. But we are standing at different locations. That is why he said that apart from the legal investigation to make sure this man owns it and that, you need to also do the technical aspects of it. Sometimes even the land can belong to me, all right. Searches don't even end at the Lands Commission. You can own land, but because it's a big piece of land, the particular area that you took me is a road, or it's been earmarked for a church, or it's a waterway. So apart from even checking at the Lands Commission, we need to do other checks at the town and country planning to ensure that in terms of planning regime, that land that I want to put a residential building on is appropriate for that use. So investigation is very, very, very critical. And sometimes people think that it is expensive. It is more expensive not to do the investigation and encounter landguards or other people. And that can be very deadly. You lose more than if you had done the right thing in the first place.
Charles, you've said it beautifully. But every day we turn on our news, the newspaper, now whole communities are even running. First, it used to be just one plot of land and then the watchman runs away because land guard came. But now they're getting that aggressive where whole communities are now running away. So then you go back to say that, did the community not see a lawyer to make sure if they were supposed to live there, or why can't we solve this land issue once and for all? Because we've lived on the land ever since God created us. Up until now, there must have been some modalities to say that every piece of land belongs to somebody. Every piece of land must belong to one person and never two people. So why all these confrontations?
Basically the reason is that because land has become, and has always been anyway, land has become a very essential commodity, and everybody seeks to expand their authority over pieces of land where they think that they are lying fallow. But as we've always learned, that there's no ownerless land, which means every land has an owner. The difficulty is that the extent of the boundaries, and whether boundaries owners are willing to agree that in terms of our ways of having acquired the land, whether by acquisition, by settlement, by hunting or farming activities, when the lands were fallow, whether we had very clear demarcated boundaries. Unfortunately, no. And therefore, because a lot of people now have a livelihood in land, which is that they typically only sell lands for a livelihood, which the revenue is used to service virtually everything in their lives. They are willing to fight to gain more territory.
Gaman cheme, nyengayoi, eshenyeno, gaman cheme. Amaka nyanoku, nyejimi wa. Gaman cheme yo gan, nyefe nyejimi. Nyelu wa mi kenye, mi aje. Ishe nyegbe yembo shin. Sane mama yele, sanogo ne sani gbomo ayi. Ni inyembe. Di taga ni nkwanye nyenluwe ameni beko memblemo si beko me agao sanobu mo wakabula nya we wo fedi si mi enka ma yue ka me yue mi aje ma yue ha me gama cheme mi no anya luna kan nyetashi nya ya asuku wa nya leno kono di ya no kaje de shi ke leaders ginya nye leadi wo nimba nye leader wo kaya kuma beni ganfe nye kwa beni ganfe ma fe wo muji gama fe e wo muji tenya leader wo ten alo mo ye nye keke kenya teshie nye no koko nye ye komi benye ye jollof benye wo nye ba repeat a nye ke ba gbo keke ka teshia wo mo koklo manche manja ne fi ne tashi ne nche egma ko ese ko me ka bia ne ka shi gama nche men yo je men nyegma ese nyegma myself nye balu nye fe nye balu shi nye ga nye lead wo mini ya no ne gama nche be nye lua u nye tashi nye ho shikpon jie fe shikpon jie nye ho shikpon jie fe aba ho shikpon ko me aha me ifo jeke bako no ye bero ana agbe mo go ye mini wo Mini wo wataga ni nya ni foreign say baba he gan fe ye wode gama chama nyega yo nyete ashi ye lu nye wo ya polemi mini ya no nye ho wo ma fe gama ni mashi blibo shikpon blibo ne fe nya ho fe nya fite fe mini wo nya ansa wo gama chama nke mini wo namo hanye shikpon Ninya ho nyeke shikpon fe an Chinese biye te fiote nye tashi ye ga ni Chinese nyo ba ma molu e ba ma molu first watashi kenya te shie nye dictate be my life mini no mo hanye power inye nye fe ne ke kusune na ke kusuwe wa fe ne kusuwe na be ko me kusuwe nye ke janguna be ko me kusuwe ehia nye kase ani nye leader wo jogba shipon ni watashi wo ni nibi ko me progress wo ya eko be ni shiga chene gama shi na ga no ke me na shipon e boss we e fe ne gota ke ni ye fe wo muji hela gbegbe me ni nye tashi nye fe no ko nye be scientist ni study noko nye fe noko kanya te shie abaye ni na bawo ko te shon ke mancha jibo ba telebo mi anje ke ba e bo ba yin ona jiye na mo jibo jegbo mo jibo bo afabo nye fe kuma nye behavior to mo do na afonye no agba guna na afonye je me je so mi nye guna na afonye ye luwa mi kenye mi jenye gbe gamanche me nyete ashi nye ho wo manfe bia ne kente gan bia ne kemi to shipon ye labadi na eko mi to shipon yo sun na eko nyete shin kenye te shin mo be nye jinye na mo jibo who born you dog ama kenya loko nye na chante bi e ba wo mami ko ka chante nyon ye gan bia ne aga se nunga si yemo tui ganya bon tui yemo bon tui yemo wonlu nyamo nya kase ame yemo na meba he o ma benya na no ya no bia no ko te labadi business se fe yo nyeme ahante bi mega bi e yo kenye te shey ga show mi ya shika you have money what are you doing with your money nye tanu ke de te sheba abosu be me ne hie be dey drive to na agbo nyelu nya wa shikpon nya wa wo gambi nya wa wo kanya de shi mi majanye nshenye mbaye kemba ga ho mo sumo ya fe no ba fe nshenye mbaye ade nya ka je manche minini nimga fole je musu na lele manche minini god uji manche ninga jele alo manche ka ye ni nya manche je mu na emu alo na ni tumo be ni na ni oh go where you there manche ni ga nya ni newspaper graphic na ke se gu na me na gbomode sa nya yese amelu ho manjame nyelu ya chante mami no kwa so ba ye Ga-Adangme one de boy gan no kono na ma febu nyelu manjame nyemba kenye so ni ma pa je mo nye fia no ni yo manjame nya ya school nye wa me nye kase adi about the shikpon machine ni shikpon ni majeme ni ken fe bulu ani banye ba na Chinese bi e ba he shikpon fe e wode wo atuni ame slavery e no still slave nation e no still ya Ghana onupa na ame lead wa me mboku a keje te shenye wa me manchema nye twa me fe e jeme wodi di mancheme wodi di ame we don't need mancheme wo ba nye wo rani wo nche wo shikpon kenye sumo nye wa me mo manche nye wa me aje manche ho kwa chale mancha bi mi ya kra nye gbana nya ni nkoko ba nyelu mancha me nyelu wa mi je nyelu figota nyelu